Hey, everybody, welcome back. Once again, Happy New Year. Our second review of 2024. We are reviewing AEW World's End, the final pay per view of 2023, our second review of 2024. And with me, once again, we have the man himself, Campo.Reviews, movies, TV shows, wrestling, comic books, whatever you want reviewed. This guy takes care of it all. He has a channel, RLG Cast. Link will be in the description box below, so make sure you go and follow that. But before you do, make sure you throw a like on this video, comment, share, subscribe. Let us grow this channel. I've seen a slight uptick in my subs over the last few days, so let's keep that going. The goal is to have 500 before the end of the year. It's a doable goal, if not more. So make sure you give it a like, give it a sub, ring that bell for notifications. So with that out of the way, let us go right into World's End review. Campo, World's End. An hour and a half, 0 hour again, with only 3 matches this time.
Not upset.
But the 3 matches were really good.
Not upset.
So we'll start with our first 0 hour match. It was Willow Nightingale against Chris Statlander.
Actually, a very good match.
Yes, it was. It was the best I've seen both these two women in a very long. Willow, we knew had it in
Yeah,
her.
but she's just been put in really crappy matches.
Right. And Chris Statlander, since coming back, I haven't really been too impressed, but she really impressed me in this match. The last 2 matches she's had have been.
Yeah, she was someone that we thought had a really high ceiling and then came back from the injury and kind of just like tapered off for a long time until she's lost the belt. Every match since she's lost the belt has been good.
Yeah.
This was a good match. I was
It was a
happy with the outcome of it.
fantastic match. It was nice, and like they gave it enough time. The hour and a half, 0 hour, they gave this match 13 and a half minutes. So, and it told a really good story in ring. I like the whole story with Stokely Hathaway too, how he's trying to drive a wedge between the two friends, he's trying to bring Statlander to his group, right?
It's really weird to me for this one specific reason that we know, and it's very established that Chris Statlander is part of the best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, is this storyline taking place completely out of that world?
I think
Like,
it is because they haven't
they
made
don't know that this is happening. Like, none of those 7 guys and best friends know
yeah,
that this
because
is
this was on
happening.
the pre-show, right? So everything on the pre-show doesn't happen on the main show.
I find that such a weird thing. Like, we're
Yeah.
just ignoring the fact that any of those people exist, and Stokely Hathaway is going to take her.
Yeah. I think they're trying to take Chris Statlander away from that best friend storyline.
I think they're just trying to turn her heel.
Yeah. They need more heels. They don't have enough heels. So Willow Nightingale wins though, which is good momentum for Willow.
Yeah, good. I'm happy.
Maybe Willow's next in line for Athena, or do you think maybe Julia Hart?
Uh, Probably. I don't know if. Yeah, if they give Billy Starks the television title, I think that it'll be
Right, because
Athena.
ROH announced the women's television championship,
Yeah,
right?
I think that'll be Athena. And then I have a thing. Maybe it's weird now because they have Diana, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you could put Athena in the TBS division and have her do that, but then at the same time, it's like, then what do you do with Diana? Because I don't care if you make her feud with Tony Storm, you could do that, but if she wins the belt right away, it defaces the title once again.
Yeah, unless there's a women's tag division coming.
Yeah, but they're not ready for that yet, and that's all probably not going to happen until like towards the end of the year.
The end of the year. But I mean, they can always build up to it.
Yeah, I guess.
So, but I mean, Willow goes over. Good match. Next, we have our 20-man battle royal for a championship shot at the AEW TNT Championship.
A really fun battle royal.
It was. My only thing I was upset about was Dalton Castle getting eliminated too early. Again,
Yeah,
they're telling a losing streak with Dalton Castle again too.
and it's all based around Johnny TV.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't like that either.
I don't understand because listen, he was pretty popular in WWE. And
Mm-hmm.
since he got on the indies, he hit at one point a Matt Cardona level peak of
Mm-hmm.
popularity on the indies. Then he kind of fizzled out. Then Taya Valkyrie came to AEW. Then he came to AEW because of her. And now they're not even using him.
No. Yeah, they're not. At least
And
not
he's
properly.
he's actually not only a good wrestler, but he's quite a decently sized name.
I think he's there mostly for backstage role for
Maybe.
the younger talent. Like that's my guess. Like that's only
You got to do something with Dalton Castle though.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Dalton Castle is way too good. But in the end, the last four guys was like really interesting. Like, what do you have who are some of the last four guys? Yeah, Trent. Trent was one of the last guys.
Trent
Uh,
Danhausen,
mhm.
um,
Archer was one of the last few guys.
Archer, and then there was one other big guy, wasn't there?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the name now. Not Lee Johnson got eliminated early. Kip Saban got eliminated. Brian Keith was pointless in that match. I totally missed Christopher Daniels in this match. Rocky
Yeah.
Romero was one of the last guys in the ring too.
Well, either way, Trent wins,
No,
and
Trent did not win. Kill
Trent did not
switch.
win.
Former
Trent,
Luchasaurus wins
yeah, Luchasaurus wins. Trent wins. Another thing like
on
on
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah. So he's next in line.
Yeah.
But as soon as Kill Switch won, I knew something funny. There was going to be funny business happening between Copeland and.
Well, we'll get there when we get there, but I was thinking of a completely different storyline.
Okay, we'll get there when we get there then. Next we get a FTW rules match, and Hook is defending the FTW championship against Wheeler Yuta. A shame this match was on the pre-show.
I will go out of my way to say this is legitimately a great match.
Mhm.
This
This
is
is
the
a
maybe the
fantastic
best match
match.
I've ever seen Hook wrestle.
Yeah. But it's also you had a guy with Hook that knows how to work that style as well in Wheeler Yuta. I'm telling you, Wheeler Yuta, if he can just bulk up just a little bit, this kid can be something special.
Just think it's the thing that holds him back is that he's so secondary to everybody,
Hmm.
and he's not that good of a talker.
Yeah, he's
So
not.
he gets pushed away.
But his promo before the match was not bad until he got cut off by Hook.
They're never bad. It's just like you could tell he's never going to be that guy that's going to drop like a holy crap promo.
Yeah. You could tell he writes his own promos and then rehearses them before he reads them.
Yeah,
He's never a on
it's
the
like a
fly
Brian
guy.
Cage situation where it's like he's talented, he's massive, he has the look, but he just like when you hear him cut a promo, you're like, yeah, I get why he's with Prince Nana.
Yeah.
Like I understand.
He needs a mouthpiece. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that Prince Nana can work as that like a Paul Heyman-esque type of
Yeah,
character
yeah,
with
it
Brian
can.
Cage. But this was the if this was the main if this was to get you hyped for the main show, completely got it for me. Like I was sold with Hook and
Yeah,
Wheeler
all
Yuta.
three matches got me hyped. I was like, okay,
We're
we're
off to a
going.
good start. Hook retains, obviously. Spoiler for Dynamite, Hook wants to go after the AEW championship after this.
Yeah, he's not.
No,
Okay.
he's not. He's not there yet. Get a secondary belt first. But with that, we go off the air and we go back on the air with our main card. We have basically all the losers of the Continental Classic match. We have Blackpool Combat members Castagnoli, Brian Danielson with Mark Briscoe, and interesting enough, Daniel Garcia with them against Jay Lethal, Brody King, Jay White, and Roosh.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to make a heel team and like a something else team. This
Yeah.
match was a good match for what it was, but it's
Hmm.
one of those situations where like I just don't care.
Yeah.
There was no story, there was no
It
reason.
was basically we got to
We
get all the guys that were in the
yeah.
tournament on the card, so here it is.
It
It's
was
a
an
very New Japan
I was
style way
just
of
gonna say
booking.
that. It was the most New Japan thing to do. Like, oh, we need to get every wrestler we have in the thing. Okay, have like a 45-man battle royale at the start.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here are the top runner-ups from the G1. Let's put them all in an 8-man tag match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. But it was still a good match. It was long, long enough, I guess. It didn't go overboard. And Brian Danielson gets the pin on Jay White. And is Juice hurt? Because Juice wasn't at
Juice is
ringside.
hurt. Juice is having back surgery. He's gonna be done for a very long time.
Okay. That's why we haven't seen Juice in a while.
Yeah. So
But surprise.
I think they're gonna get somebody. They're gonna give them somebody new.
Well, I mean, after we talk about tomorrow night, there might be somebody that be leaving New Japan.
Well, there has to be a something. Okay, there has to be a sort of person put into this because they get thrown into a feud, which we won't spoil anything, but they get
Hmm.
thrown into a feud where they clearly need more than three people, and it can't be them teaming up with the Acclaimed. I think that makes no sense.
Yeah, no, that won't make any sense at all. But I mean, you still have the guns with Jay,
Yeah, but they need at least a fourth, I
a
think.
fourth guy. Yeah. Blackpool and Briscoe and Garcia go over, like I said. Daniel Garcia, and then we had what's his name? Was it Matt Menard out at ringside? They're setting up a feud between him and Brody King as well. I think
Yeah,
they're setting up a tag feud though. Brody King and Malachi Black against,
they're doing stuff.
yeah. But at least they're trying to set up stuff.
The
You know what I mean?
Dynamite after this is
Was fantastic.
arguably the best Dynamite we've ever seen, with the best storytelling that AEW has ever done in a
Hmm.
single show. However, I also think they're starting to create all these feuds for wrestlers who just need something to do that kind of don't make any sense, but at least they're giving them something to do. So
Yeah. So with that, we are going to our next match, which is Miro against Andrade El Idolo with CJ Perry at ringside. Essentially, this was a loser leaves AEW match.
basically,
They, without saying it, that's what it was.
the in-ring
This
work
was
in this match was fantastic.
this is the best I've seen Miro in a long time since joining AEW, basically.
And Andrade was just par for the course. He's always been doing
Yeah.
great stuff. I don't care for the storyline. I don't care for the swerve that happens where CJ turns on
Andrade.
For like no reason. The whole match you were backing him and doing anything to stop Miro, then all of a sudden at the last second you switched.
Yeah,
There
that's
were and there
very.
was no like hints at it at all. It was just like, oh, and then we found out
But I mean,
after
it's
that
like I still,
Andrade's leaving.
but it's like I still love you. You're still my husband, but this is my client, kind of thing. Separate,
But that played out, that story, and
yeah.
there was no hints at anything going the other way until it
It's a
happened.
better version of that story they were telling before Miro left with Lashley and Rusev when CJ left
Yeah.
Rusev to be with Bobby Lashley.
However, when you find out the next day that all of this is happening just because Rush is leaving AEW, you're like,
Andrade.
oh yeah, sorry, Andrade's leaving AEW. You're like, oh, okay.
So Andrade Royal Rumble confirmed.
I don't know. He's already at a big event for MLW in like 2 weeks, so I don't
Yeah.
even know if he's going back to
But I mean,
WWE.
so is Matt Riddle, and we find out what happens with Matt Riddle later too.
I mean, do we find out?
Well, tune in next week for that because that's on New Year's Dash review.
I mean, he's showed up. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
part of it.
But let's leave that for another day. Yeah, so Miro goes over. Yes, Miro wins, fantastic match, but this was just to get Andrade out of the company. Miro goes nowhere from here. He's probably going to take another 6 months off.
Yeah, I don't know what you do.
He's got nothing. There's nothing for him right now.
I think you got to put him with like a Buddy Matthews or something and have that. But then Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black are really deeply in this tag division right
Yeah.
now.
And Brody's still part of that too, right? So
And Brody's still doing his thing now with Daddy Magic. So
yeah. Yeah. So we'll go into our next match, which is our AEW Women's Championship match. Tony Storm defending against Riho. The current
amazing.
against the first. Fantastic.
Amazing.
Like the only thing about this match was the finish. It was too fast to finish.
I
Came out of
absolutely
nowhere.
agree, but
But in
it,
ring, this was amazing.
it happened way too fast. But I feel like there was a few points in this match where it looked like Riho hurt herself, and it could have been an audible call because
Yeah.
they like Tony Storm knew she was supposed to win anyway, so maybe we just cut it short here.
Yeah.
And also like she hit her head a few times.
Yeah.
But then
But
it,
then
it
again,
kind
that's Riho selling. She can
yeah.
sell like that. Like there's
It
no
also
tomorrow.
told a really good story, I think, because the match just ended. Like it was like, I'm the boss. This is over.
Yeah. And Tony Storm retains, right? So
The best women's match.
of
We get
2020.
two good ones on here. This
Yeah.
is the best women's match I think we've seen since Julia versus Emi Sakura, which was a while ago.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. I think that was back in June. So with that, next match of the night was Swerve Strickland. It was supposed to be against Keith Lee, but Keith Lee was not cleared to wrestle. So we're getting Swerve versus Dustin Rhodes.
Hated the story of this match.
Mhm.
The in-ring, the stupid, I'm hurt, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to give up.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
the
care.
cinder, I broke my leg on the cinder block, but I can still run.
That all happened too quickly. There was
Yeah.
no time to absorb anything happening. So in your head as a fan, you're like, okay, they did this on purpose because they're just gonna get rid of this match and throw it out and make it makes Keith Lee mad because
But
his buddy got hurt.
it still went 10
I
minutes
know,
though.
but and that's what I didn't like. You didn't need to have the match. You should have just left it at my buddy's hurt. When I come back, I'm gonna beat you up for this.
Yeah. Or have Swerve just absolutely squash Dustin. At this point in his career, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just I mean, I would have really liked to watch Dustin versus Swerve in a real match.
If it were like in a random tournament or something, yeah, that would have been great.
I mean, we did get a wicked off the top rope Canadian destroyer, I think it was.
Yes. Yes, it
Uh
was.
so I don't know, but that
Yeah.
is what it is.
Swerve goes over. That's the important thing. With that, we are going into another 8 multi-man tag match. It is Sting, Darby Allin, and Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara against Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs.
This match was really good.
Yes.
This is the best 8-man tag match I've seen maybe since I started watching
And
wrestling again.
I got to give it up to Chris Jericho. Like, I can't sing his praises enough. He made Bill look like a superstar. He made Ricky Starks look like a superstar. He made Powerhouse Hobbs look like a superstar. Like, he made all these guys look like superstars. Like, we knew these guys had talent and they had potential, but you put them in a match of Chris Jericho's going to make you. So now it's up to you guys what you're going to do with that.
Yeah, the only one thing that they did that I didn't like is Chris Jericho 2 different times had to signal to Sting for
Yes.
Sting to do something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, but it felt like this match, it felt like Sting and Allen were like afterthoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was to set up the match on Wednesday against Takeshita,
Yeah.
which, by the way, that's definitely already on the list for match of the year.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, this was a
But even
really really good 4-way.
Sammy Guevara,
Sammy was great in this.
like I honestly think I think he was saddled with a poor storyline with Tay Mello or Tay Conti, whatever her name, his wife.
But I think they were so fresh in their marriage and their whole thing was so gross. And it was just he didn't want to like leave her stranded, right? So
Yeah.
the storyline was okay, I'm just gonna drag her along with me wherever I go. But now he's realizing that's not what he
It
has
was
to do.
bringing her down.
Yeah,
He was
she needs
bringing
to
him
go
down.
do. They should have never broke up to Jay and Tay. That was the
Yeah.
stupidest thing they ever did.
Yeah. But and even her, Anna Jay, what's she up to now? Like,
Wrestling on Rampage every Friday.
yeah, along with Penelope Ford there. But Sammy Guevara surprisingly gets the pin in this match on
Yeah,
Ricky Starks.
I think that was like they're trying to tell us something.
Yeah,
That I think that's going to turn into a feud at some point.
which I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset about that at all.
And also, this one thing that I didn't like,
Mm,
big time. They really goofed up the moment when Sammy and Darby should have shook hands and like everyone erupts because it happens in like a weird angle and there's so much other stuff happening that no one's paying attention to it and it just happens and like nobody even
yeah,
notices.
very true, very true. With that next match, Julia Hart defending the TBS Championship against Abaddon. This was a house rules match where they can pick a stipulation, and Abaddon's stipulation was that biting was legal.
Yeah, but we know that Abaddon does that, so I
Yeah.
don't think it was weird. If it was just the first time, I think we would have been like, "Oh." Um, the one of the bites left a huge bruise by the end
Yes.
of the match. Her
Yes.
arm was all bruised. So like
Yes.
she really gave it to her. There was a few
But
really nice spots here. This is for Julia Hart versus Abaddon, and both of them are good. Don't get me
mhm,
wrong.
yeah,
It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
right. I wasn't expecting much.
And then there was the big spot um when Sky Blue interferes and knocks out Abaddon, who immediately Undertaker sits up and then rolls out
Yeah.
of the ring and pulls her out from the bottom of the ring. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really cool spot. That whole sky blue spot was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
But like I said, this shows though, like this also shows that Julia Hart is starting to finally come into her own a bit more. She's starting to learn how to carry a match too now.
yeah. And they realized something too, right? Like, not, I don't think they're in the same class, and like, I don't mean it to be like a dick move, but like,
Hmm.
they knew, what are we doing with Sky Blue? Like, what are we doing with her?
Yeah, I think
She's young, she has potential. Just package them with package her with Julia, who's so red hot right now that
Mhm.
she literally can't screw it up.
And this is what makes me think there might be a women's tag division coming soon.
But we thought that before, right? You set us up for so many things. You had Tony Storm and
Saraya
Thunder
at the time.
Rosa.
Yeah,
Then you had Tony Storm and Saraya. Then you had Saraya and Ruby Soho.
Soho,
You had Ruby Soho and Willow. You had Jamie Hayter and uh Britt Baker.
Britt
Like, they
Baker.
were
Yeah, yeah,
clearly hinting at it for so long,
yeah. Bless you.
and they never did it.
Yeah, but we shall move on from that. Anna Jay retains. Like I said,
Anna
it's
Jay retains,
oh
guys.
Julia. Oh my God, Julia Hart retains. I apologize for that. So with that, we are going into our next match. After the TBS, we go to the TNT Championship. Christian Cage defending against Adam Copeland. What a match this was.
The best Edge match I can like recall in my head that wasn't a tag team match
Hmm.
involving TLC.
Yeah. And this was all Christian doing it. Like his heel work is top notch. I think this is a category we need to add to next year's list
Yeah,
is
sure.
best heel and best face.
I do also think that he genuinely carried this match.
Christian, yeah, absolutely. Christian Cage, I think, still has a little bit more left in the tank than Adam Copeland does.
I saw a few really good arguments on YouTube saying that, like, if you really really go break down the best matches of each of their singles career, the Edge matches are much bigger in scale, but
Hmm.
his ring work is not nearly as good as Christian's ever was.
When Christian had that WWE run on SmackDown against Randy Orton, like he made Randy Orton look amazing in those matches.
His run in TNA is really good too.
Yeah.
His recent run in Impact when he won the title from Kenny was really
Yeah,
good.
was really good. Well, he's one of the few people that can say he's pinned Kenny Omega.
I mean, everything he's done in the last like 5 months has been fantastic.
Yeah. The
So
whole Nick Wayne, I'm your like the whole patriarchy thing. It's been fantastic.
I do think though they took a belt that they elevated so much and then defaced it in this match. Um,
Yeah.
Edge wins and then immediately
Kill
Luchasaurus
switch.
comes in,
Yeah.
interferes. Sorry, Kill Switch comes in, interferes,
And
gives
he
his
hands the
contract.
contract over to Christian. You could tell
And
he wasn't happy about that though.
but I thought, but okay, yeah. So that's helping telling the story of the split. Sure, great,
Yeah.
fantastic. But what they should have done is they should have made Christian win this, not
Hmm.
just cleanly win this or by cheating. I don't care. Just no, not the back and forth, and then have Luchasaurus have that and be like, no, I'm gonna challenge you for the title and win
Yeah.
it back, and then have him win it back, and then have him and Edge join together or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Against Christian and Nick
That's
Wayne.
what I thought when I saw,
Yeah.
like, that's my
I mean, I'd
immediately
take
thought
that.
process.
I wouldn't be upset about that either.
Because what ended up happening is like, yeah, sure, you're telling the split storyline still, but what you've done now is deface the belt that you spent so long trying to
Yeah.
just fix it.
Edge now has the distinction of being the shortest ever TNT
Oh, and
champion.
if you look it up, it's the first time I've ever seen this. It says 3 minutes. It doesn't say like less than 1 day. It says 3 minutes on his
That's how long
title
it
reign.
was. That's amazing.
I hate it. Like what
Yeah.
like AEW, come on, put less
Less
than
than a day.
1 day, not 3 minutes. That looks so stupid.
Yeah. So Christian Cage is at the end of it all, he's your new TNT champion. He doesn't retain,
Again.
but he's your new champion.
Yeah.
With that, we're gonna go into our co-main event of the night. It is Eddie Kingston defending his ROH World Championship and his New Japan Strong Championship, while all at the same time competing for the brand new AEW Continental Championship against John Moxley.
We
This
were
was boring.
we were given two terrible options for what could the outcome of this match could be. You can have a guy who doesn't need any more titles win 3 titles, or you can have a guy who doesn't even deserve the 2 titles he has win another one. And yeah, at this point, I sound like a whiny little
Broken record.
baby
Yeah.
about it, and like I get it. Everyone's like, "Oh, yes, yeah, yeah." Okay, but like, let's be honest. In what world is Eddie Kingston
A triple champion.
a triple crown champion? And not to mention your triple crown is one big company's champion and then two little tiny belts that don't matter really with the New Japan Strong and the
And
Continental,
Continental.
which is basically like the European title.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then now
third
what?
tier.
How do you take the belts off of him? Because you can't do it in a three-way. He wins, by the way. This
Yeah.
match was so, and I'm being
We
honest.
had 10 minutes of chops.
What I'm from the most possible critical and not just me being a butthurt person. This match was so boring and had nothing good except for like a few really big like big boy
Spots. Yeah.
spots. But other than that, it was just so boring. John
Yeah.
Moxley goes on to have a three-way match at Wrestle Kingdom that is
One
like
match of the year candidate.
it's one of the matches that legitimately you're like, oh yeah, I forgot John Moxley can do this. Because he spends so much time in AEW wrestling this really weird style that in Japan he's a completely different wrestler.
Character, yeah. Like we'll talk about it, but even his entrance was much better in New Japan than it is in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what it is, right? And I find that so odd. And we were talking about it as we were watching Wrestle Kingdom.
Now, sorry to interrupt here. How many people were over?
2 and then 1.
Okay.
Just one guy had to leave, so
He tapped out, eh?
yeah. He had to go do something. He didn't even tell us. He's like, I gotta go. We're like, okay.
Well, yeah. If you start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 9 o'clock by the time it's done.
It was like 8:30 when it finished. But yeah, there a lot of the American wrestlers that go over there, like even Bryan Danielson, they're a completely different person there than they are in North America.
I find like, yes, AEW gives them a little bit more liberty and a little bit more leeway in terms of what they can do in terms of like, I guess, hardcore type
But they're
of.
still stuck in the dumb North American kayfabe system.
Yeah.
Where they have to be that character for these matches. But then they go to Japan and they could do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. Like Danielson as well. Like tune in tomorrow for that review. But Danielson and Okada, again, another match of the year candidate. Like,
yeah.
Like on that card, it was a stacked card. But like we said, Eddie Kingston wins. He is now your Triple Crown champion. He's defending, I think, just the New Japan Strong, I think, at Battle in the Valley.
Yeah.
I
think you got to take it from him now.
Yeah.
He got his Triple Crown. Move on from Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, but the thing is, who is it that he's facing at Battle in the Valley? I'm going to look that up real quick. Who's he facing it against? Well, that's going to be a good match. Oh, no, he's defending all 3 belts against Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, he's not going to lose.
He's not going to lose. Ooh, Shingo Takagi versus John Moxley. Yes,
that's
please.
What I'm worried about. It's this dumb 3 belt thing.
Yeah, you've booked yourself into a Roman Reigns position now.
You don't need to defend all. If I'm on a Strong show, I should only be defending the Strong title. If I'm on the Ring of Honor, I should only be defending Ring of Honor. If I'm on AEW, only AEW, not 3 belts. Unless you're going to give the 3 belts to someone young and up and coming, like a Daniel Garcia or
Wheeler Yuta
or someone, or you're going to lose it to like a huge name, like you're facing Okada and Okada beats you for all 3 belts.
But then Okada, those belts mean nothing for him.
But this is the point where he's at now. If you could tell what they're doing with him, they're trying to give him belts that he's never won to cement him because he's only ever won the world
as a
title.
Legend. Like, yes, I can understand when he was on the Indies, he's a big deal, but he's not that big of a deal on the main stage.
He's not a big deal, period. He's popular on the Indies.
Yeah.
It's not like he was a good wrestler on the Indies.
No.
He can chop you, he can pile drive you, and he can.
He's no Matt Cardona on the Indies.
Yeah. Exactly. So, let him lose all those belts to Matt Cardona.
Give Matt Cardona all the belts. So with that, we are going to go into our main event of the evening. MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. Joe. Oh my God. He just decimated.
And I enjoyed every moment of the destruction of MJF. I hated every single moment where they let MJF have these little comebacks that was like, how did he get back on top? Like I don't understand.
At one point, he's selling that arm injury. Is he really hurt or is he just like kayfabe hurt? Like, this is what I understand.
I think they're trying to find a way to write him off, right? So, because he clearly needs a rest.
Yeah. I mean, he's held that belt for over a year.
Yeah, he did a good job. There's no hate towards MJF. I just think
And let's just put it this, like, to go back on our words too. At when he won the belt, we thought this was not a good idea at first, but this run was a good run.
it ended up being I because when he did
Yeah,
win the belt, I think it came
soon.
too soon. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I do think that just letting Samoa Joe cement his career is great. Samoa Joe's very popular.
Hmm.
He's very
He's a
well
legend.
known. He's a great wrestler still. He's an amazing
Hmm.
character. And he did it all through a bunch of fishy means, but at the same time, he's not taking part in the fishy storyline. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's completely separate.
Which I
But
think
also,
that
like,
was
this is the redemption of Samoa Joe, a company that didn't have any faith in him anymore, stuck him on as a commentator.
yeah, and he didn't cheat to win this.
No, he didn't. He basically choked out MJF, and Samoa Joe is your new champion. The storyline from him winning the TV belt, becoming the king of TV, it's like, no, I'm giving up this belt, MJF. I'm coming after you. You owe me that rematch, and I'm going to absolutely destroy you. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. After the match, we get the masked men approaching the ring. They grab Adam Cole, the lights go out, and who's our devil? None other than Adam Cole.
I think, hear me out. So
Hmm.
right when I saw them, I was like, boom, that's amazing because it's going to be the Kingdom or the ones who won the Ring of Honor titles, which is what we kind of wanted when they
Hmm.
first joined.
They're
Wardlow
now
being in it
officially
is
called the Undisputed Kingdom.
yeah. Wardlow being in it is stupid. For the fact that he was pushed so hard to have him like regress to this point is weird to me, but I get it. He's not someone capable of carrying his character on his own. He
Yeah,
needs whatever. And they said this guy's gonna do this guy's gonna do this, like on Dynamite. Um, Roderick Strong, which I
that
like.
makes sense.
I was really hoping, and everyone out there can hate me if you want. I was really hoping that even if he can't wrestle yet, one of them was gonna be Kyle O'Reilly just
Yeah,
in the ring, and Bobby Fish coming back was going to be the other one, and
bring
not
back the
Wardlow at
full
all,
Undisputed Era.
and have no Wardlow, just the Kingdom and the Undisputed Era. And I was like
Yeah,
that is the most epic team because it makes so much sense, and there's so many of them. They're going to be
but
dominant.
that could also lead when Kyle O'Reilly comes back to join MJF.
It could be, yeah, it could be.
And they could
Uh,
tell a great storyline that way, where then he'll turn on MJF too. And
you could have did other things too, right? You could have brought back Sean Spears and had him the
Sean
chairman with him
Spears is
again.
officially done.
Yeah, he's done. I'm just saying, but
Yeah,
you could have done that, but clearly they're not trying to do that.
yeah.
Um, so we'll see. I mean, this is a good chance, and it's hard because you just turned him babyface. But this is maybe a good chance to have Ethan Page join Bullet Club.
Mm.
But I feel like it's that ship has sailed
I want to see Ethan Page beat Eddie Kingston
for one of the belts.
for the ROH belt
Yeah, that's what I want. I want him to be a Ring of Honor champion. I
and
agree.
just like have a great run in Ring of Honor.
Mhm.
Because I feel Ethan Page, since he left Impact TNA, he was a great tag team with Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander has absolutely flourished in TNA, and Ethan Page has kind of floundered a little bit.
He had a few good moments, right? Like he fought
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe Miro win the Continental belt.
Hmm.
Miro or like Roosh, someone in that category, Jay Lethal, someone that's big
Yeah.
name, that's a good wrestler that keeps getting dogged in AEW.
Yeah.
Have
Get
Jeff Jarrett win by cheating. Like I
get the
don't
belt
care.
and or get the belt, do Roosh and Orange Cassidy and give the international belt to Roosh.
I think there's some plans here for the international championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming soon. There's tickles in the tickles.
Tickles in the feels.
Yeah, tickles in the tickles. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else.
Okay.
You're gonna give a rating first.
I'm going to give a rating first. I gave the show, it was a good show, other than the fact that we had that really horrible, horrible, boring match. I gave this a 7.6.
I'm a 7.5.
Yeah.
I
So,
think as a package, it's good. I think you
mhm.
can definitely watch the John Moxley Eddie Kingston match, and if you like either of them, you'll like the match. I just think for the length of it, it was
It
so
was 20
boring.
minutes.
It
20
was
minutes.
so boring, and it was for a title that I didn't want to see either of them win.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Those belts don't mean anything
It
now.
goes back to like the Moxley versus Tanahashi
You
match
know
where
the
it's
Eddie
like,
Kingston haters are going to come after us on this one.
but that's fine because he's not good.
No, he's not. He's not.
And
But
I used to really like Eddie Kingston. He was so enjoyable. But when his storyline is the exact same storyline since literally day one of AEW, he has
mhm.
not had a different storyline.
No, or his character. Like he hasn't changed his character at all. Like it's I don't know.
Ah, I hate you, Jericho. I'm gonna kill you. I hate you, Moxley. I'm gonna kill you. Well, then
Yeah.
who's the next
And
guy? Like,
and the thing is too, at the end, they like hug each other like they're best friends again.
yeah, he still hates Claudio, so I don't know what he's gonna
Yeah,
do about
that's
that.
true. So, but anyway, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Our first pay-per-view of 2024 review will be Wrestle Kingdom. So we will have that Wrestle Kingdom for you review for you tomorrow. So make sure you have that bell notification turned on to know when that video drops. So in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.